All right, welcome to another episode of Sports on the Hill podcast. This is episode 287. It's a Halloween special. We've got a lot to break down. Right now, the Capitals live are on the penalty kill in overtime. So it's exciting part of a hockey game to start the game with. I've got live here in the Man Cave. We've got Tim. How you doing tonight, Tim?
Doing great. I hope the Caps pull it out tonight. It's been an exciting game. Lots of penalty kill.
Yeah, for sure. So it's cool. We haven't had a live show in the Man Cave with somebody else in a long time. So I appreciate
Good to be back
joining us. And we got Andy in chat. I appreciate it. Primordial Sounds. And he said that he just dropped a collab video that he did with Carly Sings on his YouTube channel. And if you want to drop the URL for it in chat, you are more than welcome to send that on, and we can even make a command for it. There was just a Pokemon in chat that we missed. All right, we've got 37 seconds left in this 2-2 tie game. We did kill that power play. We actually were on the penalty kill twice so far in this overtime. There was a bleed over for just a couple of seconds from a very late penalty taken. Big
could have been a score there by Carolina.
This has been a crazy back and forth. There's 14 seconds left here in overtime. A shot on goal goes wide, 9-8. The Caps are trying to, that's good. They stymied them as they tried to enter the offensive zone. 1-0, and this game will actually go to a shootout. So the first game to go past regulation for the Capitals will in fact go to a shootout. Welcome Champ to chat, and appreciate both of you guys a lot. We're going to do the Andy command and the Champ command. Champ will be joining us later for the NBA segment, and if you see, we're doing a haunted episode, and in the emotes that come flying will all have witches hats and festive themed. So if you're watching live on Twitch, you'll see some of that stuff. On Facebook you won't. It's an exciting game. Tim, what are some of your thoughts on this game so far?
I just feel like the Capitals have been on the penalty kill a huge percentage of this game, so they've been kind of on the back foot. They fell behind, but Ovi had a great goal and they went up 2-1, and it just felt like they were just holding on for dear life for a point so far. So if they do get out of here with 2 points, to me that's just stealing a game, but that's how you have to win in the NHL sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. It's been an interesting week. In just a couple minutes, we'll do our weekly breakdown. I was gonna start with that, but this game is in overtime. I felt like you kind of have to start there.
Yeah,
that's the breaking news. And now it's in a shootout. So both goalies are getting ready for the shootout. Darcy Kemper is our goalie in this game. For people who are just tuning in. It's going to be a fun show. So we're going to have Gil join us in just a little bit once this game goes final, and he'll give his take on the week that was alongside of me, as well as this live game. And then Tim and Gil will help me break down the upcoming schedule, and then we'll let Gil go, and then Tim will join us, and the rest of the NBA roundtable will break down all of the NBA action for this week. The first shot is a goal for Carolina. They elected to go first. Burns got their goal.
Mr. Boo Burns.
Boo. Oh, it's a beautiful shot to the upper corner.
Yeah,
that's
can't do much about
that. So anyway, so Kuznetsov is going to take the first shootout attempt for us. So this is kind of a fun way to start a Halloween show, just like on a shootout.
Yeah. He's going with the
goes wide
indirect skate in.
Yeah, and then he basically touches it about 100 times, and then you don't know what you're gonna do, and lull him to sleep, and then he scores it.
Yeah, nice
goal by Kuzi. That works every time.
Yeah,
really,
the goalies don't practice that speed ever, I feel like.
Welcome Carly to chat as well. I was going to share this Facebook Live, but it's such an exciting part of the game. Maybe I'll wait to share it during the actual Caps talk. But so it's 1-1. Carolina's going with their second person. He
Oh.
scores as well. Wow, that's a lot of goals. 3 for 3 to start
Yeah.
the shootout
That's
here.
the Russian.
Yeah, Svechnikov.
Rare if you go 3 for 3.
Yeah, so this gets very tough for us, right? Because pressure's
Yeah.
on now. I wonder who they're gonna go with. Either they go with Ovi or let's see who they pick.
Yeah,
It is
Ovi.
Ovi. All right. So
They need to have it. So
yeah, I know, but he's so hit and miss
it's not
with
his
these.
best
It's not his best
skill.
thing. Yeah.
As you
Oh,
see.
and he
Yeah.
misses, right?
The goalie kind of knew that move.
Yeah.
He was like, "You're DQ."
Ovechkin comes in kind of hot and goes basically tries to skate from
glove side a lot.
Glove side and kind of middle. If he had roofed it, he may have gotten it.
Yeah.
But the problem is he just didn't get it away fast enough. Which is one of the benefits of Kuzi's move. So Carolina could win it right here with a goal here in the third round. Let's see if Darcy can get a stop. Yeah,
Nice.
big time stop. All right, so now this opens the door for the Capitals to try to tie it in the shootout here. So yes, Carly, we're both in the man cave. Yeah, it's
doing it live.
Doing it live.
The rare
it's
live
crazy.
show.
I actually have 3 computers I'm
Post-COVID.
using right now to broadcast this live.
Here we go.
No, big time
Too bad.
save. Too bad. But a really good effort, and then get a point out of that on the road is a and Anderson's a pretty good goalie. Dylan Strome tried to lift it up, but it was just too late. Again, kind of the same problem that Ovechkin did. That he probably was going in the right spot, but he just waited too long to pull the trigger on that, and frustrating is how that is. But I mean, a good effort on Halloween. I mean, we'll talk about the Wizards as well. They at least made it a game of it at the end in their game as well. And watching a pretty terrible Monday Night Football game. We're supposed to be talking about the World Series too, but that has been on rain delay, so they'll be playing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday now.
Right.
So and Tim, you had some news about on Thursday two cities playing.
The crazy thing is, and this wasn't supposed to happen because Thursday was going to be I think a travel day or something.
Yeah, I think they have 2 travel days in the World Series.
Yeah, right. So Houston and Philadelphia are playing in the NFL and MLB at the same exact time. I think it's different cities. I know obviously the World Series is in Philadelphia. I think the NFL game is in Houston. I hope for traffic, but it's just crazy for the excitement of the 2 cities. And that's like very rare in sports to have 2 really important games at the same time. But I just think it's going to make, the city rivalry, like kind of start for those 2 random cities that aren't that close together. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I, of course, I'm rooting
Philly,
for the Phillies. I'm not rooting for, but I've already.
You got some Texas connections, but
yeah, I know it's the one thing that Liz and I disagree on, like in sports now. Like a lot of her college friends are big time Astros fans, and a lot of family in her too. And I have the opposite, where I have a lot of family and my college friends that root for Philly. So
and people root against the Astros for obvious reasons.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's tough. But I mean, I do like Dusty Baker, so I wouldn't be like upset if he wins.
And he's never won one. Yeah, as a manager, he's won it as a player.
Yeah, and it sort of solidify his spot.
He's gotten close. So.
Yeah, and he's brought like 3 teams in a row to the American League Championship game.
Yeah. Well, he lost last year with the Astros.
Right, but he still got to that game.
Yeah, and he gets to the championship series a lot.
Yeah, which is good.
Several teams.
All right, Gil, whenever you're ready, you can feel free to come up and join us in the conversation. And I'm just trying to update some things as well.
Got the spooky emotes going. There we go.
Yeah, welcome, Gil. It's a frustrating loss. I was hoping we'd be able to pull it out in the shootout, but there's still some good things in that game.
Some good things, always frustrating when you go to the shootout, but I got to be honest. I maybe a few good things. Probably best of all was another Another great performance by Darcy Kemper, but I'm sorry, I'm not as pleased with the Caps' effort. Little self-promotion here, but our latest episode of the Power Play Point podcast, Cheryl Ann Forster subbing for Anna, we talked about this game and the need for the Caps to go on the attack and stay on the attack. That didn't happen this game, at least not a whole lot. And frankly, the Caps are damn lucky to walk away with 1 point because of the way they played. They sat back for a lot of the game, and you take 6 penalties and you can't help but do that. So again, a lesson learned. Don't feed your cat X-Lax because he won't be able to stay out of the box.
Yeah,
you saw what happened.
Yeah,
I
for
like
sure. I mean, we took so many. We were lucky to get away at the end of the game with a point because, giving them the power play so late in the game is just dangerous. And then they gave him another one in overtime, and so it's like twice. It's we're playing with fire at that point. So I am about to share this podcast with a couple of different groups, but Gil, you already talked about it. I really liked the podcast with C4, as you affectionately call her, and I listened to it on the way to work this morning. I think you guys had some really great breakdowns. So we're going to go through some of what you guys talked about in our recap. We're recapping just 2 of those games because we were live last week for the other one. And then we'll talk about this game as well. Do you have the scoring breakdown of the Stars game in front of you?
I can get to it real quick. Hang on just a moment. There were only 2 goals, and they were both very memorable goals. So that's I pretty much got it. Yeah. So the Stars game, this boiled down to a mix of a lack of effort for the first 30 minutes, some bad luck, some bad things happening, and the Stars just playing lights out defense like they always do. Scoring summary went like this: 1650 in the first. Jason Robertson, their great young star, gets his 3rd of the year. Let's see, Rupe Hintz and Nils Lundqvist with the assist on that. Sorry, my app is going crazy here.
You're fine.
Playing the replay when I don't want it to. Is a nice little tip-in deflection shot by Robertson off of the Lundqvist shot. So that opened the scoring at 1650. Not much as far as action after that. Second period was scoreless. And then came probably, what for most teams would have been a really deflating moment. Yoel Kiviranta picks off the puck. Now, we mentioned this on the podcast. And again, I want to preface this by saying I am probably not going to be a guy that's going to be a John Carlson defender. But a lot of folks saw this play and they were like, well, there goes Carlson again, not knowing how to play defense. But if you look closely at this replay, it wasn't really his fault. I don't know what Evgeny Kuznetsov was thinking on this play, but he kind of reached out and kind of blocked Carlson's clearing attempt and actually stopped the puck for long enough for Kiviranta to pick it up, get all alone on Kemper, and he puts it away. Of course, that's the second goal, and that pretty much ended it. And the Caps actually responded fairly well after that. I think that lit a fire under them, and they actually ramped up their offensive effort, but it was too little too late. And when they managed to get through the Stars defense, Jake Ottinger managed to come up big with all the timely saves. So, even though it was only a 2-goal deficit to overcome, just wasn't enough when they got around to putting out the effort. And that's pretty much how that game went.
Yeah, I was frustrated by that game, but we talked about it last week. I never have a good feeling when we play the Stars, and it's just I've seen 3 losses in person to that team.
Yeah,
So
I hear you.
Yeah, so I did not like that one when it was on the schedule, and so that game went about. I was hoping to get a goal. I was hoping not to be shut out, but 2-0, 2-1, not surprising in that regard. I was happy to see we were able to rebound well into the next game, and I think we can just talk more about that game.
That next game, that was the one against Nashville. at Bridgestone Arena. Probably so far as close to a perfect game as you're going to get. Although, again, I don't like the shots against totals. Predators actually ended up getting 34 against the Capitals, and it was a horrific night at the faceoff dot, losing 61.3% of the draws. But even so, Caps dominated this game. No goals in the first. Beck Malenstein drawing in with the the injuries, and so he gets his first of the year. 12:49 the second. Nick Dowd on a great cross ice pass to find him all alone in the low slot for that one. And then in the third, Alexei Protas gets a nice insurance marker. Sherry and Nick Jensen on the assist there, makes it 2-0 at 6:44 in the third. And then the captain ices it with an empty netter at 17:15. Orlov assisting on that one. But this one, aside from those three goals, again, another stellar performance by Darcy Kemper. 34 shots again flung his way. He gets them all, and quite a few of them were some high danger chances. They got quite a few guys that can put it away. Roman Josi can move the puck. Philip Forsberg, we know what he can do. And yeah, it was so he stood tall, thank goodness. And yeah, Caps played a decent amount of defense, but I would like to see the shot load reduced. You don't want to see over 30 shots given up by your team, but thankfully Kemper was more than equal to the task.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't always play very well down there in Bridgestone Arena or whatever it's called, and it's frustrating, but I was happy. One of my best friends, it was his fiance's birthday, and she decided to go with him to Nashville for her birthday, even though he's the big Caps fan, and she's like learning to be a Caps fan. And they went to the game, and we won 3-0. So I'm like, you're a good luck charm. So, and I think they won a game last season too that they went to together. That one was in Cap 1, but I was super excited for them because I mean he's one of my closest friends, and him and Tim were both groomsmen
great
of mine.
experience.
So like we've been Caps fans together for a very long time, since high school. So it was really, I'm so happy for them to get to have a road victory. And I don't think I've ever seen a road win, to be totally honest. I'm trying to think of all the road games I've ever gone to. I don't think any of them have been wins. So, oh no, that's not true.
Playoffs in Philly.
Yeah, playoffs in Philadelphia. I got to see them win game 6. That was in 2007 in the playoffs. Unfortunately, Philly got the last laugh in game 7 in Washington in that year. But I got to go to the game 6 win with the Ovechkin getting 2 goals, and I left with my life. When I played that as a,
yeah, you better be quiet.
Yeah, I did. I had a Philly fan pretending to wail on me as he was taking me out of the building, so that way no one else would beat me up. That's why he ended up being my best man, right? So but that was a great win. But so I guess that experience is incredible, and I hope that everyone gets to see one road win in their life. And you've got to see a Winter Classic win, right?
Yeah, I saw Winter Classic at the Nats Park.
Have you ever seen a road win?
I've been to road NHL games in Dallas and Columbus, but the Caps didn't play. So
yeah, that sounds good. Have you ever been to a road victory game?
No, I haven't been to many road games, period, but hope to do that sometime down the road in my lifetime.
I'm tempted to go to that outdoor game. I know it's so expensive, but like Carolina's so close. I was just like, man, I was so close to pulling the trigger to go see them. That'll be a cool game at North Carolina.
Yeah,
the Wolfpack at NC State's.
That'll be a fun venue.
I think it'll be an interesting game for this rivalry that we just saw, which is was a close game, and it's just very frustrating. I will defer to you. I've only got to see glimpses of it. I mean, it's Halloween. I was, both trick-or-treating with my kids, putting them to bed, and just catching moments of these games, as unfortunately more and more games I watch that way. But it's, from my point of view, they just kind of put the effort in at key moments to tie the game, but didn't really ever put enough to like push the envelope in their direction. At least that was kind of my sense of it.
Yeah, I think you got it. That's pretty much what happened. They only, I mean, to tell you what the kind of offensive output they had for the whole game, they finally got their 20th shot on goal in the overtime period when Kuznetsov put a shot on net in the overtime period. That was actually their 20th shot on goal, and I think their last actually. Now, if I'm seeing, yeah, that was their final shot on goal. So they didn't reach 20 until overtime. So it took them over 60 minutes to put 20 shots on goal. You can't do that against this Carolina team. Quickly going over the scoring summary. Okay, so to open the scoring, well, okay, so the Caps gave up one of their 6 power plays to Carolina. And Stefan Nason rhymes with Jason, going with our Halloween theme. That was for you, Anna. I hope you're listening. That was for you, Anna. So he opens the scoring with his first of the year. Brett Burns, BB, and he has a BB, as we'll see later. And Martin Necas on the assist on that one. Tips in the point shot from Brent Burns. So no more scoring after that. Second period, Dylan Strome with his second. Great individual effort on this one. Nick Jensen put it on net. There was a really funky rebound. Sebastian Aho could not corral it, and it kind of pinballed around for a little bit, and Strome finally put it away for his second of the year, 123 of the second. That tied it. And then Caps got one of their few power plays. Ovechkin from a very familiar spot on the ice with his 5th of the year. Gustafsson, who we talked up on this last podcast episode, who's becoming a stud on special teams, and Kuznetsov with the assist on that one. That put the Caps up 2-1. And then Andrei Svechnikov with Stastny and Necas on the assist on that one. He was pretty much left alone in the low slot, and so he was found. He ties the game at 15:42 in the second. No goals in the third, no goals in the overtime period. So off to the skills competition we go. I loathe these things. So long story short, Carolina puts it away. They put away 2 out of their 3 shots. Caps only get 1, and
look at the beginning of the podcast. We actually live went through a shoot. I don't think in any podcast I've ever done a shootout live. So that was kind of interesting way to start a Halloween show. So it is what it is. I hope that we didn't jinx them. But I mean, to be fair, I mean, just walking away, the point in that game is about based on the effort is probably what we deserve. I don't know if we necessarily deserve 2. So it's frustrating because it's Carolina and they get the extra point on us, but it's still really early in the season. Any road point you get is a good one. So at least you can walk away with that, and knowing that they've done pretty well overall in this. They had 4 games on the road. They won 2 of them, lost once in regulation and once in overtime, or in a shootout. So ultimately, getting 5 out of 8 points is bad on a road swing. So I'll take 5 out of 8 every time on a road. It is what it is. It's a really tough division this year, the Metro. It's just everyone's all bunched up. I mean, it's still early. It's only 10 games in, but there's not like every team has beaten somebody good. Every team has lost to somebody pretty bad. There's like they all have their good and bad games. There isn't a lot of separation. What are your thoughts on the Metro so far, like 10 games in?
Yeah, I would have to agree. It's a lot tighter than I certainly thought it would be. I thought some teams would be a lot worse than they actually are. I'm surprised by Philly so far. They're putting out a much greater effort under the new coach John Tortorella. Boston is absolutely running away with it. I think they're rejuvenated with Pasternak being in a contract year and Krejci coming back and Bergeron deciding to commit for another year. So, and of course, Marchand coming back from injury. So, we'll see how long that holds up, but, a lot of so-called experts had written them off. And they may yet fade as the season goes long, but they're kind of in the same boat we are with a lot of veterans who are getting on in years who, may have seen their best days, but so far they're playing great. That's really the only team that's getting any separation. Everyone else, it's a big log jam in the East. So it'll be interesting the next 25 games who gets some separation, who starts getting on a good tear. So it's really important now because of that for the Caps to kind of solidify who they are. This is a team that has a lot of new faces on it, and so they're still trying to figure out who they are. So they need to solidify that. And this injury chance is good chance to get some younger legs in there. Talked about this as well. So like to see some more guys. I was kind of surprised with the decision to start McMichael, but it is what it is. And he had a couple of good looks on offense, but hopefully everything will start to gel here in the next couple dozen games or so.
Yeah. Well, speaking of upcoming games, let's just break down the upcoming schedule real quickly while I have both of you guys here, and then we'll switch gears in just a couple of minutes. We do have Champ on the line. We'll switch to the NBA in just a little bit. But it'll be an interesting week for the Capitals coming up. I'm sorry, gotta switch over to November. So it's Tuesday, which is tomorrow. It's 7:00. It's Vegas. It's one of the very few times I've actually
back to back.
Not seen a Vegas game, because we went to the first one.
Yeah.
And I went to at least I think 2 of the other ones. So
Wow, that's a good record
so
of games so far.
yeah, they haven't had that many. So I think I've seen either 2 or 3 of the Vegas games that have been here. And so that game is going to be a 7:00 start again tomorrow, Tuesday, November 1st. Thursday, November 3rd, they go to Detroit. It's a 7:00 game. And then Arizona, we played them on Saturday. It's a 7:00 game. And then next week, Edmonton, it's an 8:00 game. So we get to do a watch along for that show. So I think Anna said she'll be back for that one. Gil, I don't know how you feel about watch alongs. It's tough because of the timing thing. I'm way ahead of Anna, so she just gives up doing it. But I can give you the night off, and then you can come back on the next post game or not watch along. But if you want to watch along with us, you can. I just can't. I don't know how the timing will sync up, which is always the challenge with these things.
Yeah, I think I think I'm going to have to beg off for that one. If it were a regular, well, if it were regular start time, and it's not because it's a nationally televised game.
Oh,
yeah, we're talking about it probably going to end like way past 10. So yeah, I could come on for a recap, but not for a watch along. So however you want to play it, but yeah.
I think I'm going to start it at 9. So we'll just do a watch along with recapping these 3 games, and that's fine. We'll just have you on in a couple of weeks to give your thoughts. I've been happy to have you on for a couple episodes, which is really great.
Always great to be on. Love coming on Sports on the Hill.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy your program as well. And I wanted to say that Carol is actually watching along, talking about watch alongs right now, C4 herself. And so she said she freaking loved Kuzi on the shootout, and she's happy with the 50% on this round on the road. So yeah, so I want to thank C4 for tuning in, and if they want more C4 action and Gil, I definitely go to SportsOTHP.com, click the podcast partners button, and click the Power Play Point podcast, and you will get all of the latest episodes, including the great one that they dropped. I guess it was last night. Halloween's a very long day, but I started at the beginning of the day because they dropped it last night. But yeah, you guys did a great job at the breakdown. Let's just real quickly talk about these upcoming games. Gil, your thoughts on Vegas, then a quick road single game trip to Detroit, and then they're going to begin a 4-game homestand against Arizona and then Edmonton. What are your thoughts on those 4?
Well, schedule makers certainly aren't doing the Caps another favor. Yet another road home back to back. But they come back to the friendly confines only to play Vegas, who's won 8 out of their 10 games this year. So I mean, I haven't done a lot of scouting on them this year, unfortunately. So kind of not sure what to expect. I'm sure the coaching staff will prepare nicely. I don't know. If they take the same approach against Vegas that they did tonight, I think they're doomed. So I really think they need to figure out what they're doing as far as that goes. It may have been just because they were at the end of the road trip, and they were pretty much gassed. It kind of showed. So maybe that's all it was. So a bit of home cooking might be the best recipe for that. Then back up to the pizza place up in Detroit. against the Wings. They're a nice young team, a lot of potential here. I like where they're going. That's going to be a good game, good test for the Caps. I mentioned the last week that they might have wanted to employ a speed dynamic. Well, definitely going to want to against Detroit with all their young legs. So there's that. Then they come back home again and play Arizona, and never know what you're going to get with Arizona. Kind of like Vancouver. Stellar defensive team, got solid goaltending, but never much of an offense. And you think it'd be an easy win, but the last few times out, it never has been. So it's going to be interesting, but hopefully not for all the wrong reasons. That one. And did you want to go into the next Monday game or
I will, but I'll pause there because I just want to go through a couple of things that you said, and then I'll get Tim's thoughts on those first couple of games, and then we'll end with our thoughts on the Edmonton game.
Yeah.
And then, so I just want to go back to the Vegas Golden Knights, since you said you haven't seen a lot of them. I want to go through their schedule. So their last loss was on Saturday, October 22nd against Colorado, a 3-2 loss. That was in Vegas. But then they beat Toronto. They won at San Jose. They beat Anaheim 4-0, and they beat Winnipeg 2-1 on Sunday. Just to give you a sense of what they are coming from. So they've beaten a lot of pretty decent teams. Their one loss is understandable. I mean, defending champions. And then before that, they'd beaten Winnipeg. They had lost to Calgary, but they had beaten Seattle, Chicago. And they started the season with winning in LA. But so they're a formidable team for sure. I think we match up well against them. Obviously, they're always out for blood for us taking a shot at the Stanley Cup, I'm sure, you know. But I think hopefully that we'll be ready. I'm happy that at least this game is at home. It's not like back-to-back road games or something, but they need to give us back-to-back home games. It never happens.
Yeah.
Other teams get them. It's not
It'd
like
be nice.
No teams get them. If no team got it, I would be fine with it. But like a lot of teams have a bunch of them, and we never get any. I think we've had one in the last 4 seasons. So like it's pretty atrocious. But it is what it is. And then at Detroit's a pretty good young team. I actually like a lot of what they do. Arizona is terrible. We've got to win that game. I mean, I'm a big Steve Dangle fan, and he references their loss to Arizona nightly because it's like the worst moment of his like last year for him. So like we need that not to happen for us, especially in a game that's at home. And then it goes into that Edmonton game, which is a later start time, even though it's at home, because as you said, it's nationally broadcast. So that one's on what channel is that one on?
TNT.
I think that's going to be TNT.
Yeah, usually.
Actually, they're saying it's NBC Sports Washington.
Actually, you know what? You're right. I just flipped onto it, and it says NBC Sports Washington for the broadcaster. So I'm wondering why it's such a late start then.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Is there like a game earlier in the day with basketball and they have to change the court or something?
That could very well be.
That's
Is there a Wizards home game that day?
I don't think
Is there like some random holiday? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or like a Georgetown game.
I think that they just wanted a later start for Edmonton fans.
Yeah, that mountain time. It's tough for them.
Maybe. Yeah, I looked at that time and I immediately thought, oh, it must be nationally televised. But yeah, no, they've got their crew, our home crew on there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Along with them
better crew
for next week. So I think Edmonton's a tough out, though. I mean, I'm going to predict an L in that game next week on the podcast, but I'm hoping I'm wrong.
They win in DC a lot, Edmonton, because our friend goes and he tells us. So
yeah, he's a fan of both of them. It's 1A, 1B. He's from Edmonton, so at least it's legitimate. But like, he loves the Capitals. We'll root for them against any other team, just not the Oilers. And so we don't usually do very well against them.
No.
So. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Well, Gil, I'll let you give your thoughts on the Edmonton one, and then let us know if you have any special guests or anything more we should know about your podcast from this week and your upcoming one for next week.
Nothing special planned. Anna's set to return, so we're going to go over all of the games that were played. It's going to be 4. We've only had one, so not sure which one we're going to focus on. Going to see how that pans out. So that'll be Sunday night. We record Sunday evenings. We do encourage anyone, if you want to come on. Our motto is we make the Caps fan the star. So if you want to come on, speak your mind about how the Caps are doing, you are more than welcome. Just give us a shout. Let us know when you'd like to come on and what you want to talk about, and you've got a forum. Now, as far as the Edmonton game, yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Robbie. I'm not going to automatically chalk this up as an L, but no, we never do really well against these guys. Connor McDavid and Draisaitl being who they are. Yeah.
I think they do a disservice to us not having it at 7. I think if it was at our normal start time at home, that would probably give us a slight advantage because it's them traveling east. But now they're like, we're not even going to give you that. So
Right.
yeah. Anyway, but all right, let us know any other facts about this podcast. I really enjoyed your conversation with C4, and I do hope that people will go and check that out. And any other final thoughts that you have before we let you go?
No, not really. I mean, except for this, the Caps need to start gelling as a unit. I think they're still a little bit disjointed in their overall play. It showed tonight. I get that they had injuries to fill in, but they need to figure out, who they are and what their overall strategy is going to be, because they cannot keep approaching games like they did tonight and expect to come away with a win. And you saw the standings, everything's pretty tight. You got to get points when you can. So they just need to start figuring out. They're not playing badly, but they could be playing a lot better.
Yeah. They just showed a stat that I wanted to put on the podcast to end it. He's only 16 goals away from second all time. It's a really incredible Ovechkin. We just take it for granted. Like, I know that you got a goal and like whatever. We didn't really like go crazy for it, but it's just like he's just very quietly still scores almost every.
Piling him up. That was his 5th, so he's on pace for at least another 40-goal year.
Wow. So yeah, we have to talk about it because I mean Gordie Howe is such an amazing hockey player. For him, if he passes him, I understand we're trying to get the great one, but we can't just be like ho ho, well, everybody else in history other than one guy. This is a
lot of people think he's the second best player, not just scorer.
Yeah. So
well, if I can say this, and I know we're over time, but if I can just say this, Gordie Howe should not be forgotten. As great as Gretzky was, Gordie Howe should never be forgotten because to me, he will always be the total package. He was not only good at the offensive game, but the defensive game too. And the one thing he really excelled at was the physical side. And he was like, well, he's a lot like Tom Wilson before there was a Tom Wilson. He had the intimidation factor going with him, and he scored a lot of his points that way. So for that and many other reasons, I think Gordie Howe should never be forgotten. It will be a great accomplishment when the captain finally passes him.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Gil, I really appreciate your time. We'll miss you next week. I'm sure we'll have you back on sometime soon. We'll obviously take. I'm trying to decide whether or not we'll do a Thanksgiving break. I know it's on Mondays. I don't know if coming back from it, what I'm going to be doing. So the upcoming holiday schedule will be interesting. But we'll definitely talk as the weeks go on and have you back on not next week, but an upcoming week for sure. But everyone should go check out the Power Play Point podcast. Gil and Anna do a great job. I'm happy that both of them are co-hosts on different days and sometimes even together on our program. So I appreciate both of you a lot, and hope that people go and check out your podcast as well. And I hope that you have a great rest of your Halloween evening, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure being on SportsOTHP with you guys, and thanks a lot for having us.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.